opportunity lies several steps ahead of your opponent. You must know where you are and where you are going. If that is true, Mr. Wick is a master at play.
Welcome back everyone, Meanpooh here, and this is 10 Doom-like FPS games to try on the Acer Nitro 5. Gosh, that title was a mouthful. Anyway, the games are played at a max setting at 1080p. By the way, don't let some of the graphics fool you, as there are some real gems in here. Some are meant to look this way because of their inspiration. So, number 1. First up is Medieval. While still in early access, the game borrows heavily from the 90s first-person shooters such as Unreal, Doom, and Heretic. Medieval is structured as a progression of levels, each of which featuring a complex non-linear structure, with progression often requiring you to seek out keys to unlock doors. The level design in Medieval promotes exploration, with most levels containing several hidden secrets where you can find power-ups as well as lore. Levels are grouped into episodes, with the levels in each episode sharing a unique theme. Episodes consist of 4 levels each, the last of which being a boss battle. There are 6 ranged weapons in the game, each using one of 4 types of mana. The weapons have varied effectiveness against each of the enemy types, and you must change your strategy depending on the situation. To replenish health, you must pick up blood orbs scattered throughout the levels. There are also rare power-ups that grant temporary abilities such as flight, invisibility, or a torch to illuminate darkened areas. Number 2. AVP Classic. This is an oldie, but it's a good oldie. Aliens vs. Predator offers 3 separate campaigns, each playable as a separate species: Alien, Predator, or the human Colonial Marine. Each character has different objectives, abilities, and weapons. As the Colonial Marine, you'll use a number of weapons to combat aliens and predators. The Marine wears armor for protection and uses an image intensifier and flares to improve visibility in dark areas. When playing as the Predator, you'll again use a variety of weapons. Just like in the movies, wrist blades, a throwing disc, and shoulder-mounted energy weapons are all here. The Predator can use a cloaking device to become invisible, and several different modes of vision to detect enemies, including an infrared vision mode and a mode sensitive to electrical systems. As an alien, you can explore most of the game's environments freely, even climbing across walls and ceilings. The alien has no weapons, however, using its claws, tail, and jaws to attack enemies. The screen is distorted into a fisheye lens effect to reflect the alien's field of view. You can also use a form of echolocation in dark areas and can detect pheromones to discern enemies or predator enemies. The alien can drop from any height without injury and is the fastest of the 3. One other thing is that the alien is most difficult to use, as running on the ceiling can be very disorienting. Graphics aside, this is really worth playing.
Provide casualties now. How bad are those casualties, people?
The labs are locked. Protect the security system.
Number 3. Here we have Blood, which is one of my favorites from back in the day. The game follows the story of Caleb, an undead early 20th century gunfighter seeking revenge against the dark god
Chernobog,
which is his former master. The gameplay is similar to other classic FPS games like Doom. You will have to activate switches or seed keys to go through the levels. Some larger maps contain up to 6 keys. This is one of the earliest FPS games to feature alternate and secondary attack modes for its weapons. Weapons include a flare gun, voodoo doll, and an aerosol canister that can be used as a flamethrower. It also features a power-up known as Guns Akimbo, which allows you to dual-wield weapons temporarily. Enemies include human members of the Cabal and creatures fighting for the Dark God. Enemies can use objects in the environment for cover. The game also features a lesser class of enemies, bats, rats, eels, possessed hands, etc., often referred to as nuisance enemies that are not considered threats individually, but can be deadly in large numbers. Side note, Caleb was the supreme commander of a cult called the Cabal, worshippers of the forgotten god
Chernobog.
Ophelia Price was his lover and later rose to the highest circle of the dark cult, the Chosen, until all 4 members of the Chosen were betrayed and killed by
Chernobog
for unspecified failures. Several years later, Caleb rises from his grave, seeking answers and vengeance. Hence, that's why when the game starts, he says, "I rise again." Whoops, that's wrong. It's "I live again." Like I've been saying through the videos, if you enjoy these types of games, you cannot miss this one. This is an excellent game and actually has some movie reference in them if you keep your eye out. Number 4. Taking place in and around the fictitious rural town of Dusk, Pennsylvania, a huge network of dark, unexplored ruins are discovered underneath a section of farmland, which attracts the attention of the government. Military personnel and scientists establish research labs and factories in the town in an attempt to harness the magic of the ruins. The game has 3 episodes. The first episode, The Foothills, is largely set in the county outskirts around Dusk's perimeter wall. The second episode, The Facilities, you'll fight through the remnants of the possessed military and science personnel who guard an array of occult machines within the industrial zone. The final episode, The Nameless City, the treasure hunter finds himself in an alternate reality. After passing through a cathedral, the treasure hunter travels through various locations, with eventually him being forced into a trial that takes place within a corrupted version of the treasure hunter's memories. In Dusk, your objective is to reach the exit of the level while surviving all hazards on the way. Such hazards include hostile enemies such as robed cultists, demonic livestock, sentient scarecrows, and possessed soldiers. You'll have access to a variety of weapons including dual-wielded sickles, dual pistols, single and double-barreled shotguns, an assault rifle, a hunting rifle, and a few more including magical weapons. This game has solid action and shouldn't be missed if you like the gameplay style.
Number 5.
This is another that is still in early access. Iron Maiden is a first-person shooter and developed by Voidpoint and published by 3D Realms. Hey, Duke Nukem! Iron Maiden is a prequel to the top-down action game Bombshell. You assume the role of Shelly Bombshell Harrison, a bomb disposal expert aligned to the Global Defense Force. Dr. Jadis Heskel, a transhumanist cult leader, unleashes an army of cybernetically enhanced soldiers on the futuristic city of Neo-DC, which Shelly is tasked with fighting through. The game felt a little like the old Duke Nukem 3D game, but with more control. Your character can duck, jump, climb, swim, and will be fighting 7 zones packed with multiple levels of mayhem. Some weapons of destruction include tri-barrel revolvers, grenade launchers, and heat-seeking smart bombs. These will have multiple ammo types and alternate fire modes. Shelly will also make wisecracks just like Duke, depending on what's going on. A great game if you're a fan of the Duke Nukem 3D or Shadow Warrior games.
The quarterback is toast. Clean up on aisle your ass.
Number 6.
Here we have Maximum Action. I'm on a roll with these early access titles, but bear with me. This one is good. It has the elements of Max Payne, The Matrix, and John Wick. There is only 2 levels and an editor that I couldn't get working. When you finish the tutorial, you'll most likely play the first of the 2 available levels. There will be a shotgun at your feet, and you should pick it up immediately. Out of the elevator, you'll go full speed towards your enemy. Hit the slow mode and take your enemy out. And while you're doing that, take his gun. Oh wait, there's a guy on the right. Jump right while firing it in the air and watch the ragdoll physics take over. It's pretty awesome to see the devastation your bullets have on the enemy. Though it seems like you are invincible, you're not and can be taken out very easily. If you happen to run out of bullets, throw your gun, and if you don't have that, use your fist. Things can get pretty funky on screen, like not being able to stand up, or not coming out of slow motion fast enough. I can excuse it as it's a very early access game, and it should be awesome when the game is complete. This game is straight bullet action.
Number 7.
Strafe, a first-person shooter, was funded successfully, reaching $207,000 of 185,000 gold on Kickstarter back in February 19th, 2015. The game has a line boasting the fastest, bloodiest, deadliest, most objective, abusing, action-packed first-person shooter of 1996. This roguelike first-person shooter generates unique full levels every time you play. Handcrafted rooms are randomly linked together and filled with a fresh buffet of hungry enemies, so every run provides a new bloody challenge as you seamlessly slaughter your way through 4 diverse locations in unknown deep space. Strafe does not have lives or checkpoints. If you die in Strafe, you will start at the beginning of the game and everything will randomize. There is no multiplayer deathmatch or co-op. The game has over 30 weapons, over 20 enemies, and 3 levels in each of the 4 zones. The enemies, upgrades, and merchants among other assets are also randomized and placed within the zone. The game features a digital gravity and dynamic blood splatter system. Each weapon has a primary and secondary fire method with power-up items allowing the weapon to become much more powerful. Good sound effects and an easygoing soundtrack makes this a roundabout title. I don't have anything bad to say about it other than how I missed it. The game definitely deserves to be noticed, especially because of the roguelike elements.
Number 8.
Back in 2014, a game was released called Tower of Guns. It was made by one guy going by the name of Joe Marabello, and the music was by his brother Mike. The game takes place in a tower filled with a variety of guns. You must ascend the tower by advancing through a series of randomized areas. Each area contains a number of arenas and a boss fight that you must clear to advance. At the beginning of every run, one of several stories is selected at random. These stories do not impact the gameplay in any significant way and can be toggled off completely at the beginning of a run. When starting a run, you may choose one gun and one perk before you enter the Tower of Guns. The tower is filled with randomly placed robots and sentry turrets that fire projectiles at you. The projectiles can produce a variety of effects, such as area of effect damage, fire damage, or launching you into the air. When an enemy is destroyed, blue tokens are produced that you can pick up to increase your gun's level. The tower also contains various power-ups that alter gameplay and upgradable guns that you can unlock. According to the info page, the game is intended to be completed within 1 to 2 hours and has been described as a lunch break experience. Not a bad game, but sometimes things feel like they are moving in slow motion. I'll bet to give you time to dodge the many projectiles coming your way. Props to the developer for producing a pretty good product on his own.
Number 9.
Now we have Project Warlock. Taking inspiration from the classic 90s shooters, you'll explore a progression of non-linear levels while battling buried enemies and bosses. In order to survive to the exit, you must seek out keys, power-ups, loot, weapons, and ammo, some of which are hidden in secret areas. Each level consists of 1 to 4 short stages. Levels are grouped into episodes, with the levels in each episode sharing a common theme. You are a unnamed warlock who can wield both conventional weapons and magical spells. After completing each level, you can return to the warlock's workshop, where upgrade points and experience points collected in each level may be used to purchase new spells, weapon upgrades, and player perks such as increased health points. The workshop is used to save your progress between sessions. The game does not allow quick saves, and each level must be completed in its entirety for progress to be saved upon return to the workshop. Project Warlock also features an arcade-style lives system. You have a limited number of lives, and running out will send you back to the beginning of the current episode, or if you're playing on the hardest difficulty, you'll have to start at the beginning of the game. There's lots of action in the game, and one wrong place shot towards an explosive barrel will end you right there. This is very true to the old style of gaming such as Doom. This is another that you shouldn't miss, and if you enjoy these types of games, I wouldn't hesitate to pick it up.
Number 10.
I think you guys are going to like this. It's called Hellbound, a 90s first-person shooter made 20 years later. It's made by Saybot Studios from Argentina. I hope I pronounced it correctly. The game was funded on Kickstarter and raised $41,528 with 546 backers on June 8, 2018. It is now an early access game on Steam and is currently free to play the survival mode while the campaign is being developed. This is a single player game, has controller support, including first and third person views. Pretty good, though I would recommend playing with a mouse and keyboard. I tried to play with the controller at one point in the video and I could not turn fast enough. The enemies are fast and relentless, and you can't afford to be slow on the draw. So this game is inspired by the classics such as Doom, Quake, and I'll just stop right there. You already know what I'm going to say. And by the look on the screen, you'll see exactly what inspired it. Big old club swinging demons, gun-toting brutes, and giant monsters. Let's not forget chain guns, rocket launchers, and shotguns all make for a great recipe if put in the right hands. As you fight in waves, beware of the playing field as it's surrounded by what looks to be lava or fire, and the plants that are growing can be used like exploding barrels. Use them to your advantage when fighting large groups of creatures. I do not know what the green plants do, so you're on your own there. You'll notice that the frame rate is in the 40s and 50s. I have this game maxed out, though the frame rate is under 60, it's very smooth on the screen. The Nitro 5 is very capable of getting way over 60 with this game if you choose a lower preset, so don't worry. Also, again, it's in early access, and most of the time the developers will release performance updates if they are, active. Well, this concludes the 10 Doom-like FPS games to try on the Acer Nitro 5. In closing, if the video helped you, feel free to like and subscribe. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Meanpooh, out.